Hello, everyone. It's Friday. I think this is like the first time in almost 2 weeks that we've done this. So happy New Year. It's Chat with Mac. We're glad to have you in this new year. For those of you that are new to what we do, we are happy to have you. For those of you that are constantly watching, giving feedback, we really appreciate you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nadeem, it's been a week.
Yeah, it has. I think the people are getting sick left and right. Not just COVID, but just the flu. There's some kind of bugs going around, I think, and
There's a lot of
we're doing I'm getting a lot more involved in project work and migration, cloud migration, stuff like it's just. I think people are finally realizing that some of these cloud technologies are not just a fly-by-night thing. They're here to stay. They provide actual business value, and people have finally figured that out. We saw this first wave hit when I remember a few years ago. We used to talk to business owners, and they were like, "Oh no, I want to have my servers here where I can touch them, feel them. I know where they sit. I don't know where they are in the cloud. Can't see them. I want to be able to go touch my servers." And then finally, that first wave was where they understood, okay, well, we don't need to really touch the servers as long as they're working. And if they're working longer, they're more reliable, then I don't care where they are as long as I have access to them. Now we're getting into another situation that happened, in the beginning of 2022, which you may have heard of, is the where email stopped for companies that have on-prem Exchange servers. Which I'm amazed that companies still are. Well, I'm not really amazed. I know a couple of people who are of that mindset where they want to have their own Exchange servers in house, which we can cut it, slice it, dice it, show them the value of not having to run and maintain your own on-prem Exchange server, but the ultimate decision is there. So there are still some companies out there where they have to run their own servers for whatever reason. And people. I heard. I didn't even know about this because I'm more involved on the cloud side of things, right? Where the cloud was not impacted at all by this. So my focus is on that side. But one of our other engineers reached out and he was like, well, have you heard about this Exchange thing? And actually, it was the call the other day, and I was like, Exchange thing? What Exchange thing? I haven't heard of any Exchange thing. Well, come to find out, companies that have deployed Exchange on-prem in-house, their email stopped working when the year turned 2022.
2022, yep.
Yeah, and so I was like, whoa, I wasn't even aware of something like this because that's not what I deal with on a daily basis. But once I found out, then I looked into that and I dug in a little deeper what had happened. So, and this is another value point to moving to the cloud. There was an issue with when the date changed, the actual log value of the date. The antivirus, the scanning system in Exchange on-prem, which is like the antivirus and the anti-malware scanner that's built into Exchange, that part stopped working. It could not accommodate for the date code. So because it did not understand the date code, it said, I can't process anything. So when it cannot process an item, that item now sits in the queue. It's going to wait to be processed. It's not going to show up in your mailbox. It's not going to go out. It's not going to come in. It's sitting there in the queue. So now it's stuck. Now, for companies who had on-prem servers where this was an issue, now they had their queues building up, right? Because, there's like thousands of messages coming in a day and they're just all queuing up. So Microsoft was fairly quick to release a fix for it. I think it was like within 24 hours they had a fix.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just a PowerShell command you can run. And all it did was disable the FOP, the antivirus engine. There's a keyword for it. Forget the keyword. So the antivirus engine. So they just gave you commands to disable the antivirus and the anti-malware engine. So once those engines are disabled, the email starts processing. It goes through the queue depletes. Everything is good until Microsoft can release an actual fix. Then you apply the fix, you enable the antivirus engine again, and everything is good. But the interesting part is people who are on the cloud already, they did not even feel anything because it was all mitigated and automated by Microsoft on the back end. Now, this is where we see the real value where products are divergent. Exchange used to be on-prem only back in the day. That's where Exchange got its start. Well, now they have diverged enough to where you have the Exchange online and then you have the Exchange on-prem. And now we're getting to where the Exchange online is seeing a lot of growth and feature set while the Exchange on-prem is kind of slowing down. And I think this kind of shows us a little glimpse of the future where such technologies that are prime targets to move to the cloud are going to get moved to the cloud. There is not going to be an option. Eventually, these kind of things are going to move to the cloud because then the manufacturers can make sure that you get the best experience. And that's the bottom line. Same thing that's happening in the Office suite, right? So there's a shrink wrap retail version of Microsoft Office that you could buy, which is getting deprecated.
Yep.
That's going to go away. The
Yep.
Pro Plus version is the one that's going to stay. And what does the Pro Plus version give you? It makes sure that you're always up to date all the time, automatically, magically. You don't have to do anything. It's just up to date. And that's the beauty of it. New features are released. You don't have to do anything. It's automatic. That's where the world is moving to. And I think this is what's going to happen in the near future is, most of these things are going to be automatic. Think about it. If you never had to install Windows again, if it just updated itself to the latest, greatest version, I mean, I'd rather pay, $20-30 a month or whatever and not have to worry about my Windows ever updating or manually upgrading it. Or, I mean, every time you have to upgrade Windows, it's like, even myself being a techie, I make backups because I can't trust it. I know something it's such a, deep thing that you're doing. You have to take the precaution, especially if you have data. Well, nowadays it's easier because all the data is in the cloud. So, if a machine blows up, it blows up. I don't care. But the downtime is still there. The time it requires you to do the upgrade process is still there. If that can be automated and seamlessly streamed to devices, I'll be willing to pay $20 for it.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you, and I think I know the answer to this, but I wanted to get your view on this as far as, and we sit on a day-to-day, basis as far as companies, like we were saying at the beginning, that, they're saying, hey, they have such a myopic view where they have to see my server, blah, blah, blah. Do you anticipate that Microsoft will not directly force companies to go cloud, but make it where if you don't go cloud, it will be increasingly difficult for you to operate on a server-based environment? Do you see something like that happening where it's almost forced without it being forced?
So right now we're in the first phase of moving everything to the cloud. Then there's going to be a second phase, and what you just talked about is going to be the third phase. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen anytime soon because there are a lot of workloads that require on-prem servers. However, the wheels have started turning in that direction. Eventually, that's where things are going to go. I get calls all day long where people are like, well, hey, I want to, I have a new project starting. I need to build, 5 servers. I need to do this. I need to do that. Can I just do it in the cloud and not have to buy all this hardware? I'm like, yeah, we're there. Yes. We can do it. So yeah, the mindset is changing. Like the example I gave you where people were like, we want to touch and feel our servers. And now we're seeing more and more of people where like they're coming to us and saying, hey, can you get us to the cloud? Because our competitor just moved to the cloud and we can see how more efficient they are. And we need to compete with them. So we need to reduce our costs. We need to be more nimble. We need to do things faster. Can you move us to the cloud? But there's always going to be a few of those, diehard people who are going to, keep things where they can touch them. And that's fine. Eventually, it'll become so painful that they will see that the whole world is moving forward and they'll have to play catch up. Or it's going to be an extinction event. They're just going to go out of business.
I think for us, we kind of saw the writing on the wall, if you will, when I think it was, I want to say maybe it was September, October, maybe when Microsoft rolled out this, what is it, the desktop as a service module, where you basically had your entire desktop in a cloud. And I remember saying, yeah, this is pretty much not necessarily the beginning of the end, but I was like, at some point you're gonna have to get on, or get on or get off, because I don't know if, as a company, if we're there yet, if we've even rolled that out as far as desktop as a service, if we're going to be rolling that out soon. But I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of companies move to that, where you don't have 365. And, for what it's worth, Microsoft has been doing that for quite some time, where you download a 365 from the cloud. You're not even saving anything on your actual machine. But I just feel like now, more than ever, we're going to see an even bigger push to just complete cloud-based everything. And like you said, companies are going to have to, sometimes it takes a newer generation to come in and see some things and say, okay, we got to move that out. Like I said, that pain is going to get extreme to where, I don't know, maybe Microsoft will be like, we don't support that anymore. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
and what Microsoft did with the virtual desktops is the technology was already there. We were already deploying virtual desktops for customers. I mean, we already have a bunch of customers. What Microsoft did is they made it easier for companies to deploy that themselves. And that was the thing, is now it's less painful. It's easier. If you can deploy yourself and not have to go to a partner who can do the heavy lifting for you. And so if it's easier, there's gonna be more uptake. And that's the only thing with the WVD. That's what Microsoft did, is made it so much easier to deploy. Now the technology has been there for a long time. It's just it was much more involved to get it set up and get it going. And there were some things that you had to do in a certain order for things to work right. Otherwise, you kind of ended up painting yourself in a corner. So those kind of things that we do this all day long. So it's easy for us, but for somebody who hasn't done it, who doesn't do it every day, all day, it's something that you have to kind of accommodate for. So Microsoft, really what they did is they lowered the bar to entry. And as that bar to entry keeps going down, more and more businesses are going to keep climbing in. And now for small business, a lot of times, like I just had a conversation earlier today with a prospect, and he was like, well, I want to go do WVD. Well, after talking to him and found out, well, yeah, he can do WVD, but the problem is he needs to have 10 machines, and the cost of the monthly cost, the recurring cost of those 10 machines is going to be higher because Microsoft is automating a lot of stuff for you. So Microsoft is doing a lot of that stuff for you, but you're going to have to pay somebody to do that. You can either do that, or you can pay like a partner like us. We can set it up for you, and then the monthly fee goes down because now you're not paying every month to Microsoft to maintain that infrastructure. It's already set up. So it's like you either pay now and then enjoy long-term lower costs, or you don't pay much now and you pay more over the long run.
Right.
But the technologies are the same. The technologies have been there for a while. But as basically what Microsoft's focus is to lower that bar to entry, that hindrance, that hurdle to entry. And as they keep lowering that, more and more, we'll see more and more uptake. Now Exchange is one of those anomalies. Exchange was just one of those products that was just primed to be moved to the cloud. And so that's why Microsoft, bit into that first. It was so easy. It was it was called BPOS back in the day. I remember when we got involved in it, it wasn't even Office 365. It was BPOS is what it was called. I think Business Productivity Online Suite. That's what they called it originally. And then it became Office 365, and then it became Microsoft 365. But the thing is, that's a prime technology to be cloud enabled. And unless you're supporting 5 or 10,000 users, It makes no sense, absolutely no sense, to not be in the cloud for Exchange. So companies
Exactly.
who are, 50 users, 60 users, 100 users, and they're still, fighting in this uphill battle, maintaining their servers and upgrading them every 5, 6 years, it's just money down the tubes. It's just wasting money. Not worth it.
We've been saying that forever too. I mean, we've been telling people that for as
Well, we're
long as
not
I've
just
been.
saying that. We're actually doing it. I mean, we've been
Yep.
using online technologies for, like more than 12 years now. I remember. I mean, we used to have offices. We used to require people to come into offices. We used to have servers. We used to have data center space. We got rid of all that. Just move everything to the cloud. Not have to worry about it. If we need to scale servers, we can scale them with just a few clicks. That's the beauty of the cloud, is it scales with your business. So you can scale up, you can scale down. I think that, in another, I mean, the pace of change is so fast in the cloud. There is no comparison. It'll be almost like comparing an apple to a fridge. It's that different. I mean, the pace of change is that different from on-prem stuff to cloud stuff. Um, Companies that are using cloud systems, I mean, like, I use Outlook Web Access. The reason I use Outlook Web Access and not the full Outlook is because Outlook Web Access is even faster than Office Pro Plus version of Outlook as far as updates go. Almost on a daily basis, we see new features popping into Outlook. Almost on a daily basis. I mean, the pace of change and advancement is so fast. Sometimes it's hard to get your head around, like, how many people are working on this thing. It's just so much change. But that's a good thing. We don't have to understand or use all the features available. The thing is, that feature is available. If you need it, it's there. You may not need it, you may not use it, but if you do, it's there. And a lot of times I see, simple things that make life easier for you. Like for myself, like in the Outlook Web Access, I use I tell the system to automatically find time for me to do things. Like, I need to do reading. In a week I need like 2 hours of reading time. I tell it, just book me something. It intelligently looks at, using AI on the back end, it intelligently books me a 2-hour slot when it's going to be the best time for me to catch up on reading. Same thing it does for it. It'll carve out focus time for me. It'll carve out project time for me. So it does a lot of these things automatically that otherwise will take time for me to figure out when's the best time to do it. And since it's AI based, if I make some adjustments, it learns from it, because habits change. Like, maybe I like to read on Fridays, but then, a year from now, I might like to read on Mondays. Well, it will learn from that.
That's the beauty of AI. That's one of the reasons why Nadim is really trying to push towards AI. AI is the future. There's so much. Oh my God, there's so much that I think people don't even realize that it's so AI centric. Where eventually I'm excited for. I love some of the stuff I'm seeing as far as AI is concerned and how it's affecting our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, and the best part is, it is transparent to the average user.
That is correct. Yep.
That's the beauty of it. Like, the average user will see like a message coming, hey, do you want to reserve time? Do you want to reserve focus time? Click yes. It automatically reserves it for the whole week.
Yeah.
It's recurring. Yeah. So it's like seamless. It's like, you want to make your document look better? Let the system do it. It'll intelligently figure out what you're trying to do and make some recommendations. And usually it's better than what I can think of. Because these are people who have vast training in how the eye and humans perceive things, and that's what they use to train the AI. So once the AI is trained, it only gets better and better. And the good thing is, since there's so much compute power on the back end, now once the AI gets an idea, that idea can be implemented much quicker. So it can iterate much faster. Yeah. And the AI is like being threaded in our lives, and we don't even realize it.
We don't realize it. No, we don't. Not to scare people, not because I know some people start getting a little afraid. Oh my God, AI, blah blah blah. It's such a good thing. It is a very good thing to have.
Every time technology changes, there's always some people who will cry wolf.
Yeah.
It's the same thing happened when we first went from horse-drawn carriages to cars. Same thing happened when we went to airplanes. I mean, every time technology changes, there's people who are going to be stuck in the old ways and resist it, right? But the thing is, that is progress, and you cannot stop progress. Once we stop progressing, what are we doing? What are we doing? So not just because, not the techie in me, but just in general, I like the idea of trying new things, trying new stuff, see if it's better or not. And maybe it's not good, just to give you an example, like electric cars. Okay, yeah, great. But, for me, maybe it doesn't work. I need to be able to refuel quick, and I need to be able to go, 4, 5, 800 miles without having to stop. And that's just not for me. But I don't say it's bad technology. It's great technology if you're going to be, around town, or if you need like 200-mile range, that's fine. But if you're going into remote areas and off the grid type situations, if you're off the grid, how are you going to charge that car? But the thing is that technology is there. It's a good concept. It's good. Here's what I like about it. It's the most efficient type of locomotion that we know. It's almost like I tell people, use atomic power. It's the most dense form of power that we know of to harness. And it's like we have these technologies, but then we are hindering ourselves and not using the technologies that we have. But anyway, that's too much. That's too much talk.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know, on January 18th at 9 a.m., for all the CEOs and the small business owners that listen to us on a daily basis, we're going to be doing a summit. It's a webinar. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. Nadeem has been really, for the new year, has an initiative as far as giving back to the business community. And he's doing that in terms of being able to answer questions, lingering questions, pressing questions, questions that you had that you can't get answers to. That's where Nadeem wants to help. So it'll be at, yes, it will be at 9 a.m. if I remember the time correctly. We'll give you a Grubhub card just in case you get hungry when you come in, order something, eat, listen in, get your questions answered. But it's a time where Nadeem just wants to help, and we want to invite every person, a leader, CEO, influence. We want you to come out and log in.
And Mike, Mac, before we go too far down this, I want to tell everybody how this transpired. So I came to the U.S. back in, I think, 93 or something like that, and the community, and I mean, this is in Houston, right? So the community has helped me out. The business community has helped me out. We've been so successful. We've had, we've made great strides. We've done so much. And I think now it's time for us to give back to the community. So we can do so many different things by giving back to the community. We can do, fund drives and this and that. But then the thing is, what do we do best? Technology. So that's, I think, is where we can give the most back to the community, is by helping businesses answer their questions around technology, whether it's from a security perspective, efficiency perspective, whatever it is, helping the community back. And that's what it's about, is we don't want anything out of it. We don't want you to sign up for anything. We don't want you to pay for anything. It's a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time on our side, but this is how we want to give back to the community. So that was the idea, around this, is being able to give back. Over the years, we've taken so much, and now it's time for us to give back. And if you have any questions, it doesn't matter. I don't have all the answers, but I can find the answers.
Yes. So if you have questions, please shoot me an email, mac@PCSN.net. I'll send you an invite where you can sign up so we can get you in. We don't have a whole lot of slots, just to make sure you know, but we do want to make sure we accommodate as many people as possible on this. And like it's a great thing, a great time of being able to just asking those questions. And Nadeem is a wealth. I mean, Nadeem is very self-effacing as far as the amount of knowledge that he has. But Nadeem knows a lot of stuff, so you might want to pick his brain.
So this is geared towards businesses in the Houston and surrounding areas. However, I know we have a lot of customers all around the U.S. So if you are in other parts of the country, it's okay. You can still join in. We don't mind giving back to other communities as well. Outside of Houston, we just want to do the right thing here and give something back where the business community has helped us out so much over the years. So I think with that, we'll wrap it up, Mac, and hope to see everybody on the 18th around 9:00. And if you have questions ahead of time, send the questions ahead of time. That way we can kind of get everything more organized. But if something pops up right there in the call, we'll unmute you. You can ask the question, or you can type it into us, however you want to do it, and we'll get them answered. But I think it'll be a great way for the business community. And this is, folks, this is for decision makers, C-level executives, right? So this is not going to be tech related. This is not going to be deep technical discussions. This is going to be high level, business level talk and answering your questions as it pertains to business, not really technology.
Yep.
And that's where it's at.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Well, let's call it a day with that, Mac. Have a great day. Yes, and even better weekend.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all next week.
See you guys.